My calling is to continue educating young people, teaching them to, as the Bible said, love your neighbor as you would like to be loved yourself.
Life's a journey. Make your choices the best you can today. But don't be afraid to change your mind.
Take every opportunity that you have to learn.
My good friend Mike, we were in the volunteers together in Brentwood. One day he called us and he says, "Why don't you come to Florida and see if you can get on the fire department, get paid for it instead of volunteering?"
Leo was born in Cameroon. While she was in high school there, she was offered a summer job working for Air France to welcome people to Cameroon.
I started out as nuclear physics, but you can't make a lot of money unless you're extremely good at physics, so I rapidly mutated into an engineer.
Back in the 60s, I was hired at RCA Records, and I became a mastering engineer.
I have a degree in math, and my first job was at Langley, Virginia.
I was a head football coach and athletic director for 18 years, and I coached a total of 25 years.
In 1948, I was in a boarding school, middle of the night. All of a sudden, a man woke me up, along with my cousins, put us on a cargo ship. We left China. The communists were coming.
Life was pretty good until Germany invaded Poland, starting World War II.
I wandered for a long time, was down to my last $100, and happened upon a nuclear pharmacy where they hired me as a driver. And I decided that I wanted to be a nuclear pharmacist.
One day when she was 17, Air France flight came in from Paris and said, "Oh, we're short of one hostess," but they said, "You'll have to go with us." She got on the plane and she said she was scared to death.
I've been very successful as far as awards are concerned. I've been elected to the Hall of Fame for several places, and I'm still amazed at this, having a football field house at Columbia High named after me.
I emigrated to Canada and worked for Canadian General Electric there for about just under 10 years, in which time I wrote that book.
We were called computers in those days. We sat at a big machine, similar to a typewriter, only much larger, and we worked out figures and put them on that spreadsheet for the engineers.
Back then, a lot of the recording engineers didn't want you to mess with their sound. Jolene was the song. They couldn't get it pop sounding. I got a hold of it. Next was history. It's a big hit.
I had an interview with the chief, and he said, "When can you start?" And I worked with them for 10 years.
We fled eastward. My parents and I immigrated to the United States in 1949.
I spent 3 years in Hong Kong, which was British colony, learned English. My father decided to send me to Japan, picked up another language. That led me to become an American citizen.
20 to 30% of this book is like stories about me and the people I worked with, and 60% of it is technical about how the plant worked and why it didn't work.
Dolly would come in the studio and sit next to me, and we worked together on those albums. She knew what she wanted, and I knew what I was going to give to her.
I began teaching, and 16 years in elementary school. Just being with the children was very rewarding.
I grew up in a small town. There were maybe 23 kids in my graduating class. I had just come in from class and was going in to have lunch at the chow hall, and they said, "Ronnie, you got a long distance call." Pick up the phone, said, "Hello." Says, "Ronnie, this is George House. We just drafted you #1.
That experience on that plant was so intense that I dreamt about it for months and months afterwards.
Young man, I knew his dad worked on Alcatraz, and he said, well, call him up. And I called him up, and the next thing I knew, I had a job there. And I spent 7 years out there.
They got my name on a lot of albums. They counted one time, the RIAA said I had over 100 gold and platinum albums that I had mastered.
She was the first black air hostess in the world. So they gave her her card, and the card number was 001, so I call her 001.
The ambassador said, Julia, will you guarantee that you will not take away a job from a fellow American? I say, Ambassador Foster, do you know of any American who can speak 3 different languages? You know what he said to me? Welcome to America.
Heard somewhere that they were looking for a part-time coordinator for adult literacy program. And I thought that would be rewarding to be able to teach adults because you could see that they wanted it.
I also devoted a lot of time at the Holocaust Museum. Well, you know, as time goes on, we tend to kind of forget not just historical facts, but the lessons that we must learn from history.
I was totally convinced when I was 18 years old that my life was going to be in psychology. 10 years later, I had totally set that aside because of my life's experiences.
I did my job the best I could. My son, he became a firefighter. His son and his daughter, they both became firefighters.
I'll be 90 in about 3 months, so I've done okay.
I ended up being Rookie of the Year my first year, and then we won the championship in '63, and we knew we had it.
It made me feel like I accomplished a star and it lit.
You know, when you get that championship ring, they can't take it away from you.